Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Home to More at Freddie Mac. In this series, we sit down with colleagues from across the company to give an inside look into the life of Freddie Mac, our mission, culture, career opportunities, benefits, and the skills and competencies that will help you succeed here. Today, we will be exploring Freddie Mac's company culture and what makes us the right destination for your next career move. My name is Simone Morgan, and I'll be your moderator for today's event. A little about myself. I am a senior talent advisor, and I just celebrated my 4-year work anniversary mid March. The culture is a big reason why I've stayed. I love working for a company that supports employee development and well being, prioritizes diversity and belonging, and has an impactful mission of making home possible for millions of people. A few housekeeping items before we get started. Our conversation will be about 30 minutes in length. You can check in for today's event by scanning the QR code on the screen. We'll also drop a check-in link in the chat so you can copy and paste the link into a new browser and check in that way if you prefer. We will revisit the check-in at the end of the event, so don't worry if you're experiencing technical difficulties. Please leave any questions in the comments section. Recruiters will be answering as many questions as possible throughout the event. This event will be recorded and will be available on this same page immediately after this event closes out. If we should run out of time, no worries, questions will be answered offline. And now, I would like to introduce you to our featured panelists and my colleagues and friends. Joining us today are Cameron Booher, a learning and development senior who joined the Freddie Mac team in September of 2023, and Joseph Dawson, a brand communications director who has been with Freddie Mac since 2018. Welcome, panelists. I'm so excited to get the conversation started. So let's jump right in. How does your current role here at Freddie Mac make home possible? Cameron, we'll start with you.
Great. Thanks, Simone. So I started, like you said, I started at Freddie Mac about 7 months ago, and the aim and the mission of making home possible was actually a big draw for me. And this dates back to a mentor I had many years ago who told me, when you're looking for a job, go out and find a company who has products or a mission that you believe in. So obviously, making home possible is a very admirable mission and something that is hugely important to me. Also, personally, as an aspiring home buyer, I aspire to have my own home and really appreciate the mission of Freddie Mac. So the work that I do here, though, to contribute to our mission is all based in engagement and just the employee experience. So I head up many of our engagement and culture efforts, including helping define and communicate the value of working at Freddie Mac. And I've been really impressed at all the work and resources that Freddie Mac puts behind those efforts. So that's what I do here.
Wonderful. Joseph?
First of all, Simone, congratulations to you and your daughter on her recent graduation. That's awesome. So yay. Cameron, what wise words from your mentor. And so nice to see you after our visit to the Atlanta office, where we got to talk about all the great things that Freddie Mac has to offer employees. So as you noted, I'm the director of brand and communications for our diversity, equity, and inclusion division. So me and my team, we engage people on Freddie Mac's longstanding commitment to DEI. So we also inform employees on how they can use our DEI management principles to advance our mission. So Our Chief Diversity and Inclusion Officer often says that we recognize the business value of DEI. We also know that DEI is the right thing to do, but we also know that DEI is a mission imperative. And so that's what we do in terms of engaging our people related to DEI.
Wonderful. Thank you both for sharing. I really do appreciate it. Why would you say you chose Freddie Mac for this part of your career?
Cameron, I've been here for 6 years and almost 7, and I know you joined 7 months ago. For me, I stayed though because of the many opportunities that I've been afforded through the years to both grow and develop. I attended a leadership summit a few months ago that was done by our Rising Leaders Business Resource Group, and our Chief Human Resources Officer talked about the idea that jobs are no longer this journey from point A to point B. Instead, it's really this zigzag where you're going to go up and down. It's really this vertical and horizontal career journey. And that's what I've had here at Freddie Mac. So I've had 3 different roles where in each of those roles, I've been able to expand my skill set. And that really has afforded me the opportunity to grow. So that's why I've stayed. How about you, Cameron?
Yeah, no, that's spot on. And that's a huge reason why I chose Freddie Mac for this next move. I've been in many, many facets of human resources, from recruiting to leadership development, culture, engagement. I've dipped my toes in a lot of sides of HR. And I really appreciated the large team and the many opportunities that are available here. Within, my first 6 months here, my boss was asking me questions about, all right, here's how you're doing in the current role, but what do you see next? Who are the people that you've met? What do they do that sounds interesting to you? So I really appreciate that on my team, it's a culture where you're able to do your job, but also afforded the opportunity to explore what other people do for that future career growth. And I mean, with that, another reason I chose Freddie Mac was the people. I fell in love with the people during the interview process. And I just remember getting out of that first interview with my now boss and now boss's boss, and just thinking, these are really dynamic, strong, smart, people who will challenge me and the type of people that I want to work with. So I've been very pleased to have that confirmed now that I'm here.
So Cameron, I feel like I heard some key words from us both: opportunity, growth, development, and people. And I think, those are all reasons to both join Freddie Mac and to stay.
Absolutely.
Great point, both of you. And I would say, Joseph, thank you so much for sharing, because as I talk to candidates daily, I share with them that Freddie Mac is a place where you can grow both vertically and horizontally, right? As you mentioned, you've had promotions, but you've also had lateral moves. There are tons of opportunities for growth and development all throughout the organization. So thank you so much. And Cameron, 7 months in, and people are asking you where you want to go and what you want to do. I mean, internal mobility is a very big thing that the organization definitely supports. So thank you both for sharing. I appreciate it. There are also many opportunities to get involved at Freddie Mac once you're here, beyond your day-to-day. Our business resource groups, otherwise known as BRGs, are a great example of that. Can you both talk a little bit about your experience with our BRGs?
Definitely. Yeah, and actually, so BRGs were on my radar during the recruitment process. At past companies, I have been involved in employee resource groups, inclusion networks, professional networks. And so I knew that I wanted a company that had those types of opportunities. The same week I started at Freddie Mac, actually, we had a BRG open house, which was amazing to see, hey, you've been here a couple days and here are all these chances for you to get involved. So I ended up meeting all of the BRGs, figuring out what they were about. I signed up for 2 on site, the Women's Inclusion Network and the Rising Leaders, Women's Interactive Network and Rising Leaders. So I'm still dipping my toe into their programming, but we had a Women's Interactive Network event a few months ago, and I ended up sitting next to somebody who I did not know, got to meet her for the first time. And then it turns out she actually had a business related question. She is on the employee engagement group within her division. So because we made that connection in person, I was able to help her out with a business question and business problem. So that was pretty cool.
Cameron, that is so awesome that you took the time to join a BRG your first day here, which is what we really encourage people to do. I feel like I have a unique perspective on our BRGs for a number of reasons. One, I'm a member of all 10 of them. Two, my team supports all 10 of them. And I've also served as interim head of the program. I am absolutely enamored by the people who put in so much work to do the work that they do. There are probably three things that stand out for me related to our BRGs. One, there's a group or two for everyone. They represent so many different diversity dimensions, race and ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation, parental status, veteran status, disability status, wherever you're at in your career journey, like rising leaders, as you noted, or social causes, such as environmental sustainability. Two, they make an impact, not only for their members, but on the business, which is why we refer to them as business resource groups. So for example, our Pride Business Resource Group, they partnered with our single family business to develop an LGBTQ plus housing study. Our Rising Leaders BRG does an annual business case competition, and many of them also have professional development programs for their members. I mean, top-notch professional development programs. And then probably the third thing that I would note is that these BRG programs, they provide opportunities for growth and development for all of their BRG leaders. They really are a top-notch program to be involved in.
Yeah, and it's something that, maybe you joined Freddie Mac and you're not managing people yet, but you aspire to that someday. Many of the BRGs offer programs to be able to do that, but also you take on a leadership role within that BRG. That gives you a chance to manage people, to manage programming, to manage budget before you have those role responsibilities. So it's a great, great way to add to that professional development.
Oh, absolutely. Well said.
You both have shared great experiences with our BRGs. Again, it's something that you can join day one or get settled a little bit, learn more about the business resource groups, and then join at that time. So thank you both for sharing that. I appreciate it. It's important that all employees at Freddie Mac can be their authentic selves here and bring their whole self to work. I'll start with you, Joseph. How would you say you feel supported in bringing your whole self to work?
That's a really great question. But there's another question that many of us get on Mondays that we probably don't think twice about, but it's one that used to cause me anxiety. And that question is, how was your weekend? Now you're probably thinking, how could such, an innocuous question cause you anxiety? But for me as a gay man, I used to have to carefully decide, how am I going to answer? Because, I was unsure of how the other person would react if I mentioned my husband, that, my husband and I did this. But at Freddie Mac, I'm really grateful to work at a place where that question isn't a source of anxiety. And that's because, for more than a decade, we've earned 100% on the Human Rights Campaign Foundation's Corporate Equality Index. But more than that, Freddie Mac is often recognized as a great place to work, whether it's by Forbes, Newsweek, Disability In, or others. I truly feel as if I can be who I am at work. So here's the thing though, I define authenticity as being able to show up as myself, bring my cultural heritage to work. But for me, it also means being able to solve problems with my diverse perspective. And Freddie Mac also allows me the opportunity to do that. In meetings, I feel like I'm being heard. My leadership listens. It really is a place that I can bring my diverse perspective and my, diverse perspective on life.
Wonderful.
And that was
Thank you so much for sharing. Cameron, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Go
that
ahead.
was something I noticed right when I started was just the diversity in our workforce and the diversity in leadership. And I really love being able to see that because you've got different types of people, diverse points of view, people who challenge you, who think differently from you in meetings, and help you see and consider things that you might not have thought of. And I really appreciate Freddie Mac for the intention behind creating an inclusive environment and creating community amongst our employees. I remember back when I started, the first couple weeks, I would be talking to friends and family and just about my experience. And my message to them was just, there is so much available. Like spirit events where we bring people together for a March Madness or a 5K, cafeteria tasting so we can try new healthy food. Business resource groups are holding events. Our own division, the HR division, is holding events. So much of that happened during my first couple weeks here and continues to happen. And I really appreciate the fact that Freddie Mac puts resources and people and time behind bringing people together, creating that sense of community and allowing you to just interact with people outside of your normal day-to-day work scope.
Yeah, Cameron, if I could build on that a little bit, the point here is that diversity, equity, and inclusion really is embedded into our culture. And as you noted, it's embedded throughout all of the things in which we do it. So that's one of the things that really comes to light working here.
Yep.
Absolutely. Thank you both for sharing. And I can't help but bring out the point that all of the things that you all talked about include the people allowing you to be your authentic selves and bring yourself to work. It's welcomed. And again, it's something that's extremely important here at Freddie Mac.
I would also build on that a little bit too, though, to say it's about mutual respect. So rather than allow, it's about mutual respect. And that's what Freddie Mac is really good about. We all have mutual respect for one another as one of our values. And I think that's what makes this idea of an inclusive culture really work.
Absolutely. Absolutely. One of the areas we're also really proud about are our benefits or total rewards. What do you all think is one offering here at Freddie Mac that people would be surprised to learn about? Cameron, we'll start with you.
Sure. Yeah. I just thinking back, if my managers and the people I could work with were like the ice cream part of an ice cream sundae of working at Freddie Mac, benefits are definitely the whipped cream, the chocolate sauce, the sprinkles, the cherry on top. It's crazy. I still weekly am bragging to people about how good the benefits are at Freddie Mac. And one unique thing that that I always think of is our on-site wellness center. And it's actually right across in the building from our HR section. So I pass it every single day. And I'm a big runner also. So having the ability to do acupuncture on site or see a chiropractor or just get wellness checks and, basic things that normally take a big hassle out of the workday to go find a provider and do. The fact that we have that on site is pretty amazing, coupled with our gym on site, which I've also used a number of times. So that's definitely a unique thing that stands out to me. And I mentioned at the start, I'm also an aspiring first-time homeowner. So we do have a first-time home buyer benefit, and I hope to use that this fall. And I love seeing that because that speaks to the fact that we're not only making home possible for our clients, but also our employees. And that's really great to see.
Absolutely.
Cameron, I absolutely agree. 6 years ago, there were certain benefits that I was certainly look forward to. And now, 6 years later, there are other, benefits and total rewards that I am now leveraging. What I really appreciate about our total rewards package is that it supports us at every stage of our career or life journey. So for me, my mother was diagnosed with a terminal cancer. And I've really used our generous leave options to make the best use of time that I have with her right now. And specifically, there are three benefits that I really try to take advantage of. One is the caregiver leave, which we have 10 days that we can use to care for those that we love. Two, we have a 6-week work remote benefit. 4 of those weeks we can work consecutively remotely. And then 3, we have summer Fridays where we can take 4 hours with manager permission to work or to take off early on Fridays. But in addition to these leave options, we also have support for our mental health. You know, our Abilities BRG has a caregiving support group. We also have an on-site counselor and an employee assistance program. So, you know, when I have needed to be with my mother the most, my work folks have been there for me the most. And I've really, really appreciated that about our Total Rewards program.
Thank you both for sharing. And Joseph, wow, it's great to work for an organization where you can take the time that you need to be with your family and not be stressed about it. And I do think that's, you know, unique to our organization. And Cameron, all of the fitness and the wellness center and the ability to just go get on the treadmill before or after work helps with your marathon training as well, I'm sure.
Sure does. Definitely before or after, because I'm not one of those lunchtime people.
Neither am I, and I totally understand. So what would you all say is the most rewarding part of working here at Freddie Mac?
Yeah, I
Joseph,
mean,
I'm sorry, Cameron, go ahead.
sure. Yeah, I think, and again, been here 7 months, but I've been really impressed by the feeling, like being able to feel the tangible impact of our work. You know, I am in HR, so I'm not the one writing the loans or doing that boots on the ground type of work. But knowing that I am supporting the people who do is really rewarding. You know, wanting to create an environment where every employee can have their best experience, that's my line of work. So creating a beneficial employee experience for everybody, that makes us better and stronger as a company. And just then that feeds into the impact that Freddie Mac can have on the entire housing industry and the entire US. So that's been hugely noticeable to me.
So Cameron, you know, this idea of impact really resonates with me too. You know, growing up, my parents divorced when I was young. And as my mother was restarting her life, I remember, you know, she rented this old general store in our rural community. My bedroom at the time, you know, it didn't have a door. Instead, I had a sheet that separated my bedroom from the rest of the house. Now, when she saved up enough money for us to purchase our first single family home, I remember walking into my bedroom with my very own door. Now, people talk about the door to opportunity, but as a 6 or 7-year-old, I'm telling you, the door to privacy was so much better. I don't know why I needed privacy at that age, but it was really important to me then. Now, I don't know if my mom's mortgage went through Freddie Mac or not, but what I do know is that Freddie Mac's outsized impact on the housing industry and our mission to make affordable housing solutions possible helped to make home possible for me and my family decades ago. So, fast forward decades later, I am now Freddie Mac, and I remember working in Dallas, where I helped to rehab a home for a veteran as part of our partnership with Rebuilding Together. Here in Virginia, I helped work on a home for a local family as part of our partnership with Habitat for Humanity. And in each of those activities, I'm really reminded about how we are making the American dream possible for others, just as that dream was made a reality for me decades ago.
Wonderful. Thank you both for sharing. I would say that for me, the most rewarding part of working here at Freddie Mac is to share most of what we've talked about today in our discussion with candidates every day, potential new employees. You know, I always talk to them about how Freddie Mac is home to more impact, more inclusion, more opportunity, and more well-being. Again, many of the things that we've discussed today. As our session is coming to a close, I would like to say thank you. Thank you both, Cameron and Joseph. You both did a fantastic job sharing your varied perspectives about how Freddie Mac is home to more. Whether you've been here almost 7 months, Cameron, or almost 7 years, Joseph, you have shared that information, and I'm sure folks have found it valuable. I would also like to thank our audience members for joining our live event today. All resources mentioned will be posted in the chat for your convenience. I'd like to draw your attention once again to the QR code for checking in today's event. The link to check in will also be included in the resources we're adding to the chat if you prefer to use that method. You can always rewatch and share this event on LinkedIn. The recording will be live at this same link shortly after the broadcast ends. And please look out for upcoming episodes of this series in the future. I'd like to also mention that if you're interested in exploring opportunities at Freddie Mac, please visit our careers website and subscribe to our talent community newsletter for more updates and career opportunities, which is included, again, in the resources we will put in the chat. Again, thank you all for your time and attention today. We look forward to the next time, and please remember, Freddie Mac is home to more, where you can belong and have a rewarding career, making home possible for millions of people. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks. Bye-bye.